Okay, now it's time to roll the pie crust out, which is an exercise in mindfulness. So before you do it, I just want you to take a deep breath. I want you to relax, and I want you to have fun with it. I want you to have a good motion, a good technique, and just kind of really feel the dough and enjoy it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your pie crust out of the refrigerator, and you can see we have two nice little discs like that. Then what you want to do is you want to take some flour and you want to sprinkle flour on your surface. And of course we're going to make sure that our surface is clean. So just a little bit of flour. And then you're going to take your one pie crust, just like that. And you're going to take your rolling pin. So if you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a can. You can use your fingers at first, but then trying to get a small a round surface, such as a can. But if you can get a rolling pin, that would be great. I always like to sprinkle a little bit of flour on my rolling pin just to kind of make sure it's not going to stick. And then what you're going to do when you're taking your dough, you always want to go just in one direction. And I always say you go up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. And then you're going to turn up, down, down, flip it over. You have a little flour on there. And then you're going to go up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. You never want to go ooh, up and back, up and back, up and back. It's up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. Then you can take it and you can play with it with your hands a little bit, kind of like the steering wheel, like you're driving, and you can flatten it out a little bit, put it down like that, and then you're going to continue to go up, up, down, down. Take your time back and forth, up, up, down, down, back, back, up, up. You can turn it and go up, up, back, back, up, up, back, back. Gentle, 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 gentle. Just have fun with it, okay? And you can talk, think of something pleasant. And as you can see, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You don't want to have any holes in it or tears in it. You want to make sure that all of the surface is even and going back and forth, back and forth. And you can see, and you're spreading it out. You want to put some weight into it. Back, and you can see it. You can see it flattening out, and you want to make sure it's fairly even. Okay, and like this, and back, and up, and you're going to see it grow. And you want to have your pie plate handy because you're going to measure it with your pie plate eventually to see how big it is. Okay, you don't want to have any ripples, but you don't want to make it so thin that you have some holes in your dough. Okay, I'm looking at this right here. Okay, so you can see my nice pie crust. And this is where this handy dandy bench scraper that I asked you to buy a while ago comes into place. Because if you are sticking a little bit, you can take your bench scraper and kind of lift it up a little bit. Lift it up a little bit, and like that. So what I like to do is, we talk about pie tins, pie pans. You can use the aluminum ones, that's fine, especially if you're traveling someplace and you don't have to worry about a dirty dish. We have beautiful pie plates that you can buy in many different colors and from different organizations, and Home Goods has wonderful ones. So this is my favorite one from Southern Living. I've had this for years. But if you're a beginner, you might want to use a glass one. And the reason I say this is because the glass one, during the baking process, you can pick it up and you can see the doneness of your crust. So if you're a beginner baker, you might want to try to use the glass pie plate, because it's going to really help you out determine if your crust is actually done. So what you can do at this point, you can either lift it up and gently put it in, or what I like to do is just put your pie plate underneath it, take your bench scraper, kind of go up, you're going to lift it up, and then you're going to flip it over like this. So you can see that we didn't break our crust. So now we have our crust like this. What we're going to do, we're going to push it down a little bit, and we're going to make sure that we can push off a little bit of the flour. If I had a little bit too much flour on here, but that's okay. And then we're just going to take our fingers and we're going to put our crust into our plate like this so that we don't have any bulges or bubbles. And we do that. And now it is time to put our filling in. So before we put our filling in, we have to do our other half of the pie crust. So this is our top, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have our lightly floured surface, and then we're going to take our rolling pin, and we're just going to love it. We're going to go up, up, down, down, and just again, you want to think about who you're going to feed, who you're going to share this pie with. And I can tell you right now, my kitchen already smells delicious because of all that cinnamon and the nutmeg and the allspice that I have mixed in my apple. So we'll take this and we'll roll it out really nice. The second one is going to be a little bit easier to roll because it's been softened a little bit. And you can see you want to make sure that your kitchen surface is good. Up, up, back, back. And one thing that I didn't mention is when you read the recipe, you will see that it tells you that they want you to preheat your oven to 500 degrees. And they want you to put a rim baking sheet in the oven at 500 degrees to get that pan nice and hot. And then you're going to put your prepared pie on that preheated pan. Then you're going to turn your oven down to 425 degrees. As we discussed in class about heat transfer, I have a convection oven, but I also have a baking option as well. I do not use my convection oven when I'm baking. I don't like the end product of it. I don't like how it comes out. So I'm just using the bake function on that. Remembering that convection ovens, you have to decrease the cooking time by about 25%. So we're doing this. And look how nice my pie top looks. We'll take this and we'll do this and we'll get this all together. So now we have our nice pie topping. It needs to be a little bit bigger because we're going to tuck it and we're going to flute it a little bit and just make a beautiful, beautiful topping. Okay, so this looks pretty good. You think? I think it looks great. All right, so again, I'm going to use my handy dandy bench scraper and it's going to help me get up here. Another technique people do, they take their rolling pin and they will roll it over like this so it'll be ready to go. So if you want to do that, you can roll your topping right on that rolling pin, okay? So get ready to go, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wipe up my countertop, put my towel over here. I have my prepared pie crust in the bottom, and this is a little thicker than the top. Now I'm going to get my prepared filling. I'm not going to lie, I added a little bit more cinnamon. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I know I like a little bit more cinnamon, so I add a sprinkler too. You want to make sure that it is fully mixed and coated. And this is, you can see the juices are starting to flow a little bit, and that's okay. It smells really, really great. So you're going to take it and you're going to put it all in here. And it's going to be high. It's going to be really high, but don't worry about that because they shrink down. So get this, and if there is any liquid in the bottom, you want to make sure that you get it all out. So you can see, look at this beautiful apple right there. Now some recipes, like Paula Deen's recipe, she calls for putting dots of butter in the middle of it. I've done it before. Yes, it's delicious. I don't think it's really necessary, but you can do that. And then we have our pie. Look how beautiful that is. Now it's time to put our pie crust on. So we take it and we're going to unroll it from a rolling pin, you can see here, and we're going to place it on the top. And we are going to start closing it up, okay? So you're going to take a little bit of the filling of the pie crust that's down here. You might need to trim it a little bit. You can use kitchen shears. I'm just using my hands. But don't throw this out. You're going to roll these in cinnamon sugar, and you're going to bake them. The pie, the ends of it, they're deliciousness, okay? So you're going to take it, and then we're just going to pinch it a little bit. This is hanging over a little bit. So we're going to pinch it all nicely here, pinching it together, because you want to have a nice clean way to cut it up here. And you want to make sure it's sealed, because you don't want any of the juices to kind of overflow. This is a little bit too much right here, so I'm just going to take this off. Okay. Everybody has a different technique, and you do whatever's comfortable that you're with and what's going to work. You might have a grandmom's recipe that's fantastic. Learn from her, learn from your mom, your dad, anybody that is going to teach you how to do it. And there, and we can pinch it things like that. This is called fluting. I'm not the best fluter, but nobody really cares. They kind of like how it goes. Okay, so we'll flute it. We'll do it like this. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Look how high this is. This is really, really good. And we're going to get started. And make sure it's okay. So it looks pretty good so far, right? All right, one more step. Okay, the last part of our pie. So we have our beautiful pie that we have all crimped, fluted. Then we're going to make 4 slits in it. So I like to go one like that. And I actually just kind of put one like that. I like to look like a flower like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take an egg white and you're going to whisk it on up. And then you're going to use a pastry brush. Now, this is the type that we have in the lab, and this is a silicone one, which is fine. This is the type that I always had, and this is fine too, but you have to really make sure that you're cleaning it well when you're washing it. So I'm going to use the one that we have in the lab, and you take it and you just want to brush it on lightly. You want to make sure that you're not getting any areas that have too much because it will actually burn. And we're going to put this like this, and we're going to and this is what's going to give it the nice golden brown color for it. And lovely, we're adding here. So putting this, you're not going to use the whole egg, but you're just going to get it nice and wet like this, and make sure you want to get the edges too, because you want the nice brown edges. And what you can do, I can show you later, but you want to get some aluminum foil and have some aluminum foil ready to go. Because at the end of the pie, sometimes the crust gets a little dark, and you don't want it to be too dark, so you just put foil strips on your crust and it prevents it. So let's see here. Just want to make sure everything's nice and wet. Good, I'm going to give it one more part like this. And I think we're good to go. And the last step, it tells you to take a tablespoon of granulated sugar, and I'm going to use my hands. So sprinkle it like this. Nice. Sometimes you just have to use your hands, and that's the importance of hand washing. We're properly washing our hands, and we're cleaning our countertops as we go. Take this, and this is nice. Again, it sticks onto those eggs. Nice. Put this on here. And okay. Nice. All right. And this is a lot of sugar. I don't remember putting this much sugar on it, but that's the recipe calls for. Taking here. Put it on here. You can see I always get impatient by the end. Okay, so here is our beautiful pie. So now what we're going to do next is I just took the preheated pan out of the oven. So I'll bring it over here. Again, you're always going to use a pot holder, making sure that you're not, holding on to hot pans. And I take it right here and put it on my rimmed baking sheet. Putting it in the oven. Remember, it's always going to be on the middle rack of the oven. And I told you before that sometimes the pie gets a little bit brown, so you can tint it with some foil. And I actually have a little Pampered Chef ring that I put on, and it prevents the crust from getting overly brown. So you can see how beautiful that is. So I'm going to take this off, and you can see the beautiful pie here. The directions now say that we're going to take it out, and we are going to put it on a cooling rack and let it completely cool. So this is our final version. I'm going to put it over here. It's not coming off because it's stuck a little bit. So I'm just going to keep it right on here, but you can see our final version of the pie. Enjoy.